It's the 2K Sports pregame show, presented by Kia.
Give me a good Irish accent, will you, Kenny? Happy St. Paddy's Day!
Oh, happy St. Paddy's Day from Kenny O'Neill Smith.
Shiver me timbers.
Shiver me timbers.
Lucky Charm cereal.
You know what? That was actually not an Irish accent.
He was Irish. He had on green.
But no.
Shiver me timbers, mate.
Right, but
that's a pirate, man.
Lucky
He didn't
Charms.
say shiver me timbers.
The Lucky Charms. You're gonna tell me. You're gonna talk to me about cereal now.
He didn't say that.
I know about the new
Blue
cereals before
Stars.
they even come
He
out.
said blue stars, yellow hollers.
Shiver me timbers, mate.
Happy
St. Paddy's Day.
No, he didn't say
That's
that.
ridiculous. Tonight, it'll be the Detroit Pistons going up against the Toronto Raptors. Checking out Toronto. Nice job they've been doing over the last 10 games. 8 wins and not having too many problems. And a chance to check out Kyle Lowry here, one of the more underrated guards in the league. But he is as tough a matchup as you will find.
I call him the little pit bull. You know, I actually seen him, the late, great Eggman, who was assistant general manager at Memphis at the time, introduced me to him. Fantastic leader, tons of passion, great will to win. Doesn't get enough credit, man, and he shoots the 3-ball just with anybody in the league.
Took him a long time to become an all-star, but now you can pretty much pencil him in.
That's right, Ernie. And when he gets a hot hand, he can absolutely take over a game with his shooting. And his passing reminds me of my main man, Pistol Pete Maravich, straight out of LSU.
Wow, that'll do it for now. Almost time for tip. Here's Kevin Harlan.
We hope you're wearing the green today on this special presentation of the NBA on St. Patrick's Day. This is Kevin Harlan, and by my side, Chris Webber and Greg Anthony. From the sideline, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. We're at the Palace of Auburn Hills. The Detroit Pistons plan to take advantage of home court. They're one of the top flight teams in the league with the second best record in the Eastern Conference.
And checking out Detroit, they're well above the position they were expected to be in at this stage. Now the question becomes, can they keep it up in the playoffs?
And with that comes the added pressure for sure. But I think they're up for the challenge.
And we've got time for a quick pregame report. With that being said, let's head to the sideline and our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. D.A.?
Well, Stan Van Gundy remains one of the most demanding coaches in the league. Dwight Howard played 5 seasons for him and gave Van Gundy a lot of credit for the growth of Pistons big man, Andre Drummond. He's going to push you to the limit, said Howard. His whole method is to get the best out of you. Throughout all the yelling and noise, you have to listen to what he's trying to say. Kevin?
At times, a contentious relationship between Howard and Van Gundy, but you see the respect there, sir. D.A., thank you. And these teams both, in some ways, throwbacks offensively, Chris. They look to score on that low block.
Well, it's harder to score these days. Much easier to help defense than back in the day. Nowadays, when you post, half the time it's to create a shot for a team.
Good point. And it's the Pistons to start out. All right, let's set the floor. Courtesy of Gatorade. All fueled up and ready to go. So the Raptors 5 right now. The explosive pair of Lowry and Derozan are the backcourt. Inside, it's Patterson by Valanciunas. And it's Carroll in at the small forward position. And finish off by Prez.
Wow, did you see that? The terrific ball movement by Jackson is terrific. I mean, really moving the rock around the floor, especially to his wide-open teammates.
Now here's Carroll. He feeds it to Patterson. It's good. He makes his first shot of the game.
And I'll bet that's what they talked about before the game, getting the ball inside early.
Morris outside. Kicks it to Caldwell Pope. To the middle. Here's Prez. Valanciunas grabs the board. Here's Toronto. They come into this one following a loss to the Thunder.
And you don't have to go too deep into the box score to figure out why they lost that one. They just had an inability on that day to make shots.
And that happens. You can run the sets you normally do, but the ball just won't fall through the net. On to the next one.
He doesn't get the second one.
Well, of course, 2 Canadian teams were born to the NBA in '95, but back in 2001, the Vancouver Grizzlies became the Memphis Grizzlies, leaving the Toronto Raptors as the sole Canadian survivor.
Here's Lowry. Following the basket by Marcus Morris. Offensive rebound, Patterson. He gets that one. Patterson's got 5 now.
And getting after it on the offensive glass and adding to that early total with the putback.
That's what I like to see. Really making a concentrated effort to pound the glass, feast on those second chance opportunities.
Morris against Carroll. And out of bounds as Toronto gains possession.
It appears as if he just spaced out temporarily there. Really an unfortunate turnover.
Raptors have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Jackson against Lowry. Feeds it to Carroll. Inside. And Patterson kicks to Derozan. Here's Valanciunas. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. Andre Drummond picks one up. And the former 5th overall pick back in the 2011 draft. Valanciunas is still only scratching, people feel, the surface of his true potential.
And he's had a few bouts with the injury bug, Kevin, but when he's right, he's a load. Struggles defending on the perimeter, but his rebounding and rim protection have gotten more nasty as he's matured.
Carroll passes to Patterson. Puts it up from 12. And that's out of bounds. Toronto will retain possession. And here's a look now at the last few months of assist numbers for Joseph.
He hasn't been nearly as effective a passer these past few months, and that's unfortunate because when he's passing it well and the assists are coming, he is a much more complete player. It's something he has to be thinking about.
And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Patterson, that's good.
Oh, that is just weak defense there. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan to give him those kind of baskets at the hoop.
That defense was awful. That was just pathetic. He should not be that wide open right near the bucket. That's a shot that will drive his teammates crazy. There's just no reason to take it. He should have kicked it back out and reset the offense.
Patterson, the screen, and Valanciunas kicks to Carroll. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Carroll's got himself going there, his first points of the game on the deep ball. Pistons trail by 7. Morris outside. Right side Hill. Looking to end the run, and he knocks down the jumper.
And Morris does a great job keeping his head up, finding his teammate for quality shots.
Lowry with the ball. He's coming off a 16-point game against Oklahoma City.
And he's really balanced, getting his own shots and making plays for others. Finding that balance, total team contribution.
Now here's Prez, following the miss by Derozan. Prez with the screen for Morris. Shoot the screen, and that one drops. Morris has got his second bucket of the night.
When Morris gets free from mid-range, he's very effective. Love seeing him getting it going from there.
Screen by Valanciunas. Carroll dishes to Lowry. Fires the 3. And again, Toronto with the triple.
This is as good as it gets for a first quarter in terms of shooting the basketball.
Prez passes to Morris. Prez with the screen for Morris. He dishes it to Prez. Down low. Got a piece of it. Here's Carroll. He's coming off a 10-point game against Oklahoma City.
Well, Kevin, on top of that, with the defense trying to take shot opportunities away from him, he finds a way to get himself to the line.
Now Prez, following the miss by Kyle Lowry from deep. And let's go real fast to the rookie leaderboard. These are the rookies shooting the highest percentage from the floor this season. 4th, Prez.
He's scoring and finishing at a very high level. I mean, playing within himself offensively and being very discerning with his shot selection.
Start it. Come on, let's go.
Our defense on Lowry has got to be better, gentlemen. It is imperative
that we take him out of
movement. There's more movement on the offensive end, certainly, with teams now instituting different styles. Do you think that creates an issue of wear and tear, especially on the bigger players? And if that is the case, how should the league address that?
No, I just think wear and tear is specific to the individual, to the style of play of the individual, to the certain play of the individual. You know, it's not, I don't think you can just make a blanket statement and say it's too many games for everyone to play. Everyone is different. Everyone handles injury different. I think what we need to concentrate more on than the glass being half empty is the fact of what can we do better in the area of rest and recovery? What can medicine, what can science, what tools are out there that guys can rest and recover? Because the fact of the matter is, when it's over, it's over. And you're a young guy, you're playing, you have the energy. You know, I can't remember a playoff game ever being so tired that I couldn't play from wear and tear, because these were the moments that we waited for. So this is the NBA. This is the toughest sport in the world. And part of that is the grind of the 82-game schedule. You know, I really don't see anything wrong with that.
Great answer. And here's Lowry, following the three-pointer from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now Joseph still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Launches it. A shot by Lowry, no good. The Pistons trail it.
Detroit has had such a rich history with the Pistons, and there have been so many great players to put on the blue and red. Just think about it. Guys from the Bad Boys era like Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Even further back with guys like Bob Lanier.
Toronto's gotten just 2 of 6 to fall from three-point range so far in the first. Sullinger, a screen on Caldwell-Pope. Leaps for it. Lowry can't get it to go. And the Pistons, Chris, have always had great players, even in down years. And one name that pops into my mind was Grant Hill before he injured his ankle.
Oh, yeah, and you can talk about so many other players. Let's just talk about Dave Bing, or even think about other players like Bob Lanier. But it's hard to pick one player who encapsulates the franchise for Detroit, as the titles have come from a strong starting five. But I would say Isaiah Thomas is the greatest Piston ever, and it's hard to argue with that. He owns a lot of the team's record. He was the #1 pick for the Pistons. He got us 2 rings.
And the basket by Hill.
Yeah, they're going to have a nice little run here.
Raptors trailed by 5. And Joseph kicks to Lowry. Patterson a screen on Smith. Lowry against Smith. Here's Patterson. And again, Toronto no up.
The defense took a big risk leaving him wide open and got lucky. He clanked that outside shot.
Caldwell-Pope kicks to Hill. It's stolen by Sullinger. Here's Joseph. Patterson dishes to Lowry. Good ball movement here by the Raptors. Outside Derozan. He kicks it to Patterson. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Derozan.
And that's just carelessness there. I mean, you have got to have your head.
And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. Jackson and KCP are in the backcourt together. Prez out there with Hill, and it's Morris in at the small forward. That's the group for Detroit right now. As we get a break in the action now, let's take a look at the East and how the teams are stacking up. We take a look at the Pistons. Right now, they've acquired the second-best record in the conference. And, of course, Toronto, a couple spots below.
And I think for Toronto, this hasn't been the breakout season that many were predicting, but they're still very much in the hunt for a high postseason seed, and that will keep them focused here during the season's final stages.
And while they might not be on top of the standings, they get the feeling that they believe in it.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, Prez in their last game against the Jazz had quite a performance. He scored 17 points, and along with what he did on offense, he had a big defensive night as well. It was just the game he needed to snap out of that cold spell. He'll try to keep the momentum going tonight, Kevin.
Thanks for the report, David. You had to just marvel, guys, at what he was able to do that night, didn't you?
You know what? It was the game of basketball being played at its highest level. No question who their MVP was in that one.
Oh, well, let's see if he gets special attention now by the defense. You know, obviously they saw what we saw, but how much do they try to take away from him early on?
I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
Raptors trail by 6. And here's Carroll. He's got 9. And again, no good by Toronto.
And just not able to find the target from three-point range here in the second quarter, although he did knock down one in the first.
On the wing, Jackson now recovering. Prez passes to Hill. Shot clock at 6. And a hard slam there from Prez to finish off the play.
And that's the athleticism that had him so highly touted coming into the league.
There's the pick. Powell kicks to Lowry. And it comes off the front of the rim.
Well, they often look to him to provide for them on offense, and he simply isn't getting the job done today.
And last year, Kyle Lowry took another huge leap in his development. And yeah, the points, the steals, and the rebounds were fantastic, but I thought the bigger part was the fact that the discipline he showed in the offseason to drop to 25 pounds. You know, you factor that in with his shot selection, and that discipline is one reason why he was an all-star and rapidly becoming one of the very elite guards we have in our league.
Here's Prez after the made shot from Jonas Valanciunas. Here's Prez. Rebound by the Raptors. Last time they met was in Toronto.
Yeah, and they got beat last time these two teams met, and really free throws were the story.
Dishes to Carroll for the 3. Rebounded by the Pistons. Hill's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Prez passes to Hill. Down low, Prez. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. Jackson's got 3 assists now in this one. They've been looking out of sync offensively.
And they need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Lowry dishes to Powell. Pass to Derozan. Valanciunas with a screen on Caldwell Pope. That freed up. Nice work off the pick.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Horrendous defense right there. Does the defense know who they're leaving wide open? You can't do that with him.
And finish off by Prez.
And the leaping skills of Prez, really just throwing down the monster dunk there.
Now here is Lowry. Some stats for him. He averages over 21 points a game. And the basket is good.
A tough start scoring the basketball, but they're starting to turn it around now.
Detroit leading by 6. Jackson kicks to Prez. To the inside. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
And the crisp passing has opened things up for them offensively.
A different look here for Detroit. Harris is checked in for Marcus Morris. Johnson comes in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And it's Ish Smith in for Reggie Jackson. A new group in now for the Raptors. Jared Sullinger's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Patterson comes in for Demar Carroll. Matthew Dellavedova has checked in for Norman Powell. And it's Joseph in for Kyle Lowry. Now here's Derozan. Last game with 30 points. They get the rebound. Here's Sullinger. No good on the shot, a bit long that time.
Well, nice. You have to love it. He worked very hard to get a great look at the bucket. Those are the shots you want him taking every time.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Smith kicks to Hill. Here's Prez. Good. The assist goes to Hill. 12 points for Prez.
You got to respect Prez from the interior. He just knows how to get it done down inside.
Derozan with it. Right now, he averages nearly 23 points a game, a relentless offensive force. Pulls up. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. And so we wrap up the first half. The Pistons on top. They're up by 11. And A chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach, you guys are down right now. How do you get back into the game?
Well, the thing about it is we got to have some want-to, some defensive toughness, some grit. We're not playing with that. I saw none of that in our first few minutes of the game. I've got to see some focus and some fire.
I know you'll look out for it, Case. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the third quarter.
All right, gentlemen, hustle up. That was a great first half. Hey, we're in great shape, fellas. Now, no matter how much we go up, we need to keep that same winning mentality. Just do what you've been doing, and it's smooth sailing. Let's go. Come on.
Welcome back, everyone. The lights of Motown reflecting brightly off the Detroit River. And welcome back as we continue our St. Paddy's Day broadcast. We're seeing a tremendous game from Prez.
And he really just broke out the entire arsenal of post moves there in that first half.
Yeah, great activity in the painted area. Lots of energy. Looking to score almost every time he got the ball.
So for Toronto right now, Derozan and Carroll are out on the wing. Inside, it's Patterson by Valanciunas. And it's Lowry in at point guard. Prez.
And Prez is the last guy you want to let get hot if you are the defense. When he's scoring like this, the D is in trouble.
Chris, you're looking up and down rosters all the time, and you always notice the guys that keep teams together, the glue guys. They may not be the stars, but they're important players. In that regard, who are some of the better glue guys in the NBA now?
Well, let's just look at the last year's playoffs. I mean, you got to look at a guy like Boris Diaw that can play so many positions and come in and score 20 for you or not score at all and still stay valuable for his team. A guy like Draymond Green that not only plays defense so well, but does so many other things so well offensively, keeps his guys rallies, gets them together. And then how about Steven Adams just being a terror down there in that post, holding it down for the big fellas. Those three guys come to mind.
Great perspective. Let's now pause to take a look at the scoring breakdown between the front and back court of tonight's contests for the Pistons.
And the front court really has been getting the job done, scoring the lion's share of the points and really causing all sorts of problems for the opponent. They are a big-time key in why they have such a nice lead to this point.
He's off on the first. He hits the second from the line. And if you're just joining us, we played over a minute here in the third. Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, guys, the Pistons raised a few eyebrows when they took Stanley Johnson with the 8th pick overall in 2015. Now, he's a great, great athlete, but some thought there were better basketball prospects available. But Stan Van Gundy says what you've got to bank on is a player's work ethic and commitment to being great. There's just something about him. He is a great, great competitor. Kevin?
And he's built like a tank. TA, thanks. Thank you very much. Fires from 14. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. Patterson's got 12 points in the game. Pistons leading by 13. Morris outside. Prez with the screen for Morris. And stolen by Patterson. Fast break Toronto. Stops. Pops. Again Toronto.
I mean, he's connecting on most of his shots out there, and his team has needed every one of them.
Detroit's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. Caldwell Pope outside. Drummond working against Valanciunas. There's the foul. It's on Patrick Patterson. That's foul number 2 for him. Bielitsa, he's checked in for the Pistons. Then for the Raptors, Sullinger's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas, and it's Powell in for Demar Carroll. Caldwell-Pope passes to Prez and finished off by Prez.
And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And Greg, he says thank you very much and say,
Bring it in. Take a seat. I like what I see out there, fellas. We're playing like we wanted more than them. Remember, you're my Pippen and you're my Jordan. Finish this game like they will.
Rings.
Lures checked in for Prez.
And let's take a look now at the stats for Derozan. He's been on a tear since the All-Star break going.
Raptors trail by 10. And with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Chris, it's not one thing that he does well on defense. It's everything.
Kevin, whenever he goes up against one of the top guards in this league, it's a thing of beauty. He either forces a lot of turnovers from them or makes them a volume shooter. He could have a lot of first-team all-defense honors when it's all said and done. The only thing is he may get caught up in that head game of trying to outscore his opponent, and your offense is your defense at times.
Here's Joseph. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Sullinger, left side, got a hand on it. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Pistons lead by 11. And we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us. And from the most recent huddle, let's listen in on head coach Dwayne Casey.
We got to keep the ball moving, keep drawing and kicking, all right? Then look at the outlets, make sure again, our bigs, we got to get space. When we're driving, we got to give the ball room.
Looking to stay active on offense, Dwayne Casey asking his guys to apply a lot of movement and a lot of pressure.
And he wants them to go beyond just swinging it around the horn. It's about driving, dishing, and playing inside out.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. Prez, he's in at power forward. Johnson is out there with Smith. Then there's Andre Drummond, and it's Morris in at the 3 spot. That's the group for Detroit right now. Johnson outside. Smith dishes to Drummond. Here's Prez. They get it back, and Drummond kicks to Smith. Passes it to Prez. Second shot opportunity.
Oh, good contest. Sullinger out there for his offense, but you like that effort defensively.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Dellavedova, the pass to Joseph. Good ball movement here by the Raptors. HansulJUNG, good.
And he's been passive today, but maybe that's what he needs to get him going, because for them to be successful, he's got to be a little more selfish.
Prez kicks to Morris. Nice again. And there's the nice layup by Drummond. Drummond's got 10 points here in the second half.
I mean, on offense, he has been a constant force. You get him the ball, and there's a good chance he's going to knock that shot down.
Down low. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
What an awful decision there. No reason that turnover should have taken place.
The Pistons making a change here. Jackson's checked in. The Raptors also with a sub. Lowry's checked in. Prez with the ball. Sullinger's there. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Now, you have to like the efficiency that Marcus Morris plays with. Not so much his shooting percentages, but how effective he can be without touches. He can score without taking a lot of shots. He knows how to follow up misses in the paint and get second chance scores.
The Pistons making a change here. Caldwell-Pope's checked in. And then for Toronto, Patterson comes in for Sullinger. And it's Derozan in for Corey Joseph. Wing shot on the way. It's Drummond with the rebound. Drummond's got 11 rebounds in the game. And with the qualities, Chris, you describe about Marcus Morris, that's why he's viewed as a valuable role player on this team.
Kev, you have to love him. He can eat up minutes on the floor and not necessarily need to be involved to leave his mark on the game. You don't have to call a lot of plays for this guy. He can fit into any lineup and play multiple positions, which helps too.
Caldwell Pope with a wide open look, and the three ball is good. And the Pistons lead by 19.
The D with very little pressure on their perimeter shooters. 3 of the last 5 baskets they've allowed have been from beyond.
Screened by Valanciunas. And Patterson kicks to Derozan. Drills the baseline jumper. Derozan's got 10 points here in the second half.
Well, it looked as if he would never find his game after that awful first half start, but he's really hitting his stride in the second.
Morris with the bucket.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks.
Lowry kicks to Derozan, and there's the feed to Valanciunas. Now Carroll. He's looking for Patterson and finds him. He can't hit that time.
And a big lead for them on both the scoreboard and the backboard thus far.
Here's DeRozan. Carroll, no one around him. With nobody on him, he buries the jumper.
Don't forget, he had a 3 in the first half. He can really hurt you from out there.
Jackson kicks to Caldwell Pope. There's the dish to Prez. It's stolen by DeRozan. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Deflects the pass, and that's out of bounds. Toronto will retain possession.
And really no choice but to lunge for that pass to make sure it didn't get through.
Great resolve there on defense, allowing nothing easy.
Harris is checked in for Detroit. Over 3.5 minutes through the final quarter now, and it's Patterson finishing it off.
And if that doesn't get them fired up, guys, nothing will.
Greg, just what the doctor ordered, huh? Some high-flying antics to narrow the deficit.
Well, also a miscommunication on defense. No one rotates over. See ya.
Raptors trail by 16. And here's Lowry. Pass to Carroll. Screened by Valanciunas. To the paint. Up off the screen.
He's been blazing hot to begin this half after looking utterly lost during the first. Nice turnaround.
And DeMar DeRozan, kind of a throwback, you know, for this day and age when we talk so much about the three-point shot, because he's not a guy that's going to bomb you to death from deep. He's a high flyer who's going to attack the rim and get to the free throw line. And to me, that's extremely important, because the more attempts at the line you get, the more opportunities you have to set your defense. And so he beats people with that polished mid-range game and shoots an incredible number at that line. And those are reasons why this guy continues to improve and become one of the best at that off-guard position.
And in a short period of time, the former UConn Husky Drummond has blossomed into an elite center, just taking the league by storm.
And looking at how DeRozan gets his points last season, Greg, he made great strides in becoming a more efficient shooter.
Yeah, and for a guy who didn't take a lot of threes, the field goal accuracy wasn't all that great for a number of seasons. But last year, DeRozan was more patient, took better shots. He also became more of a conscientious playmaker, which his teammates, no doubt, appreciate.
Chris, in the NBA now, there are a great deal of power forwards who take bits and pieces of your game and add it to their own. But when you grew up, who did you model your game after?
Oh, wow. Well, growing up, I mean, it's very simple. You know, my favorite players are the players that I modeled my game after. You know, as a big fella, I wanted to be a ball handler, and so the best ball handler was Isaiah Thomas. I wanted to be a great passer, so I looked at Magic and Larry Bird for those areas. I wanted to score, and so I looked at Larry Bird and Dominique in those areas. You know, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley. So, you know, that's the great part about basketball. You know, we see greats today, but they wouldn't be as great as they are if it was not for the generation that came before them. Why? Because you kind of know when you have a bar that you want to set, and it's, you know, hard to know.
Hey, way to put the squeeze on them, guys. Bring it in. Let's talk. Hey, this is what happens when we play our brand of basketball. They cannot stop us.
We've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, I was able to listen in on what Dwayne Casey went over with his team. He told the guys it's time to turn it up a little and make a push. We've worked too hard to come away empty-handed. Let's put this thing away. Kevin, we'll see if they can get it done.
Off the inbound pass. Derozan can't get that one to fall.
They look to him to bury those kinds of shots, even with the D all over him.
Here's Harris. Again, the miss by the Pistons. Toronto with the ball. They're on a 12-4 run. Carroll with the three. The putback. Controls the rebound and puts it back up and in. Patterson's got it back down to a single-digit deficit for Toronto.
Just in a perfect position to grab that rebound and then get the putback.
Prez with the screen for Jackson. Shot from free throw range. No good that time. Good work defensively by Lowry. Raptors trail by 9. Patterson, the screen. Outside Derozan. The shot no good, a bit short.
They were right up in his grill. Really gave him no breathing room to release that three.
1:36 left in the fourth quarter of this one. And there's Caldwell Pope. That's good on the assist by Drummond. And that's 12 points for Contavious Caldwell Pope. A lot of time left for the Raptors in this one. The 11-footer, Derozan. That's good.
And after his last game, really not surprised to see him as hot as he is here tonight.
Sometimes you get into a zone for a few games, and the basket seems as if it's wide as the ocean.
Outside Jackson, inside. Here's Drummond. An amazing finish with a hand right in his face. Drummond's got 14 points here in the second half.
And these are the types of games where one team clearly has the edge. Tonight, it will be a win by a large margin for the Pistons.
This was a physical game.
Yeah, I mean, they were aware of the rotations defensively and were able to attack the rim.
And these guys already with 45 wins on the year, so tonight we'll make it 46.
And this will be their third win in 3 tries against these guys. They match up so well. A fantastic show. And what an amazing all-around game it was for Prez.
What an excellent facilitator he was for them tonight. They were in very good hands anytime they let the offense just flow through him. And those assists just kept piling up.
And with the core that this Piston team has, they do a great job, Chris, of attacking the glass.
Well, Kevin, and conversely, the Pistons do a great job of limiting offensive boards while on defense. Every game they are getting a handful of extra chances because of their approach. The leader is Drummond, but there are a lot of other active bigs to fill out the roster.
Caldwell Pope kicks to Prez. It's stolen by Valanciunas.
Probably impossible for them to come back now.
Definitely. The ship has sailed on this game.
The basket counts and 1. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it a 3-point play. That's good from Derozan. There's 25 seconds left in the fourth. Johnson dishes to Lure. That's good, and it's Johnson with the assist. And the
great job, guys. Nice work. Take a seat now. Let's talk. Listen up. We have these guys back on their heels. And now they're playing like they're desperate.
Here's Joseph. The tray. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Derozan. There's 14 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Stolen by Dellavedova. Fast break Toronto. Finished off the break.
Wow, the floor just really opened up for him on that possession.
Well, of course it did. The D was nowhere to be found, and because of that, he easily sprinted down the court and got an easy bucket on that.
And so the Pistons take the win. Even early on in this one, it seemed like they were happy to be playing at home tonight.
And it makes a big difference. And once they started to really play in rhythm, you never felt like they had any doubts as to whether or not they were going to win.
And that about wraps it up. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. And now time to go to Ernie Johnson, who's alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. Now we move on to our Jordan player of the game, Prez. What'd you notice about his performance, Kenny?
Love watching the skill down low. He didn't even just beat them with the size tonight. He displayed great hands and great footwork. Great big man moves.
Reminds me of myself. His field goal percentage was all the way up in the 60s. Not that I like talking about myself, but it was a very steady night for him. You don't shoot well without working hard, and he never stopped battling to get the best look possible. Smart, efficient basketball he was playing. Thanks for showing me.
And that'll do it for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. For Kenny Smith, for Shaquille O'Neal, for Kevin Harlan, and for the entire 2K Sports crew, this is Ernie Johnson. I hope you have a wonderful, even beyond wonderful, a spectacular, just great. See you.
Good night.